the Altergeist players and told them that this was their weekend. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. We have a couple of interesting deck lists spread across the table here, and I have some breakdowns from some more extravaganza qualifiers for you guys. So the UK-Ireland qualifiers. I don't know who called up all of the Altergeist players, but 3 of them came out of the woodwork and decided that this was the top 8 that these players wanted to come drop into. Holy moly. When was the last time that you saw this high of a representation in Altergeist? In a hot minute, alright? Now, of course, we have the same Tri-Brigade, Drytron, Virtual World antics that we kind of normally see in events like this, but I'm just shocked to see that, were these Altergeist players just winning dice rolls? Like, were they that good at the game that those dice rolls made that much of a difference? I don't know, but that is freaking hilarious to me. Out of 61 players, 3 Altergeist players said, today is my day. And I'm excited to see that they did good. Next up here is the breakdown for the German event. Now, this looks a little bit more like how the meta should be looking, in my opinion. All right, we got Tri-Brigade out the wazoo, 2 Zodiac, 1 Pure. Okay. We had 1 Drytron. That's pretty standard stuff, right? Like, we know that. And you get down here to the 1 Infernoble Knight player, and you're like, oh, Infernoble combo has been kind of lurking around and doing its thing for a little while. And this deck never really disappears. It's always riding on the back burner here. And we'll talk about that list here in a bit. But it is always very interesting to see that Infernoble still sits around at the bottom of the table. We had 1 Virtual World. Ha! Glad to see that somebody out there is giving some love to VW. We also had 1 Eldritch and 1 Prank Kids as well. Once again, out of 64 players here, you see that little bit of a shift towards more Rogue out of all things, which I think is actually kind of nice. Seeing a little bit difference of Rogue here is very good. Now, next up here is the first place. This was O&Ws. This was out of UK-Ireland. Yeah, this was actually won by Altergeist. Now, first thing you're going to see here, it's going to stick out. Rivalry of the Warlords. This floodgate has been gaining a lot of precedence right now. Like, it's gaining a lot of steam. The fact that you can deploy this, disrupt the opponent, and then laugh at them and not have them have a recovery play, yeah, especially against Tri-Brigade, who focuses on, you know, breaking down the different types and taking advantage of that. Yeah, this deck still does what it does best. Generic floodgate the opponent out. And technically, if you open up Imperm plus Multi-Faker, you still get to set up a Silquitos Interruption on turn 1. And the fact there's no other real grindy back row decks in the format right now, you get that little thing that we all like to call called free real estate, baby. Which means that this deck just gets to bully the rest of the format. Which means, no shocker, when back row decks get the chance to kind of conquer and do things, well, we'll have to wait and see if there'll be any change to this. But this was a lot here. Also, Secret Village is one heck of a card, man. Grinding the opponent out, saying no spell cards for you. Yeah, this deck is the anti-fun Tri-Brigade deck. If you're a Tri-Brigade player, I'd be very scared of this deck. All right, next up here, second place out of Germany is actually none other than the Infernoble deck here. Now, standard Infernoble has been kind of doing the same thing for a while now. It's just Auroradon combo Gober. You basically climb up the Synchro ladder, you make larger boards. This one is playing the small Phantom Knight package we've all kind of come to know and love, which means we get access to the Shade Brigadine for the extending capabilities. Outside of that, the main deck feels pretty standard. You really don't get a lot of leeway to play this deck. I'm glad to see that 43 was the number they went for, because some of these builds get really crazy, man. Like, you start to see people out here trying to do 45, 50 card builds of this deck. It's kind of where you start to run into those consistency issues, and you're like, oh, well, this isn't going to be a fun time whatsoever. So, trimming it down a little bit looks like it worked out. I also see we're playing the Balmung Fighter. I believe that was a recent addition as of late for some of the builds. Kind of turned the tables, making boards a little bit easier to build. Next up here, another second place list. This was the other Altergeist list here. Yes, once again, the only real difference between this and the other list is This build opted to play the 2 rivalries instead of 3. And instead of playing double Artemis, this one opted to play 1 Artemis here. The extra deck's a little bit more designed, I feel like, for the player interactions here, which is fine. I also see that we are playing the Ningrisu here in the Relinquished Anima, of course, like you should be. Once again, Secret Village. And this one's packing in the summon limits to ruin the opponent's day a whole lot easier. So I do like that. Also, Gamma Seal right now. Don't underestimate the power of handing your opponent a Kaiju and watching your opponent not have the chance to play the game. I really do think that the reason why this deck had the chance to do so well was because of the power of Rivalry. Are we sitting on a new floodgate right now? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It depends on what happens to Tri-Brigade during the next list. So that'll be something to look forward to here. Next list we have here. This was an OTS finish here for Sky Striker. Now, this one is playing 4 Mud Skipper. Technically, if you want to get really cheesy here, 4 Mud Skipper technically acts as additional naming requirements and technically allows you to speed up your process for you to make those Sky Striker monsters. Also means that we can also streamline out Parallel Exceeds for additional link climbing. Yeah, this build feels like it's just more made for pushing through link climbing. Seeing Pot of Prosperity in this deck kind of scares me a little bit. I'm definitely kind of curious to see how well they resolved that, or if there was any confliction issues at any time. Seeing both of those present here definitely makes me go, like, did it work out? And I think it worked out, especially if it got the chance to get to a first place. That's definitely saying something about some level of innovation that this deck had. So, congratulations on this one. Next up here, first place heroes. Now, the entire hero landscape will be changing here in a month. Alright, well, maybe a month and a half. As soon as heroes get that new package, the entire mold on this deck is going to change. But for where we stand right now, Super Polys are going to continue to be the best thing that you can do for this deck, alright? Super Poly, break apart the opponent's board. Easy peasy, alright? Once you get Destroy Phoenix Enforcer here, this deck is going to pop up about 3 notches here, and life is going to get a whole lot better as a hero player. So for now, this looks like about what you want to be aiming for. Like I said, changes are on the horizon for this right now, but 42 with Imperms and Ash Blossoms built in for the hand traps, I think that this is fine. Alright, so it is definitely interesting though that a lot of hero players are trying to stray away from those more expensive cards like Adjusted Gold, and they are finding success without them, which is actually very nice. Next up here, oh boy, more bugs! Alright, Bee Troopers! So this build is actually nice because you don't have to play the expensive card called Coaga Hercules. You're also playing some Vanilla Insect in here, actually. So pick your poison for Vanilla Insect. That's actually kind of interesting. Contact C, and we're not doing the Retaliating C plays, actually, in the main deck. So the Retaliating Cs are down in the... Oh no, I'm just crazy. Contact C's. Okay, we are playing the 1 Retaliating C in the main. Alright, that's fine. 2 Contact C's in the side, and then we have the rivalries. Hey guys, today's focus is Rivalry. Outside of that, until we get more support along the way, like this was just enough to put bugs in the door right now as a deck that can actually compete about the metagame. It's actually kind of cool. If you guys haven't played against bugs yet, like this deck is very interesting. And the last list I have for you guys today is Raymond Harrington's, one of my locals out here, playing Adignister. Now, I figured we'd showcase this because I always love getting made fun of for this. Every time I say that this deck is good, everybody's like, no! For a local level, producing the Link 6 is very good. Especially having a 4K towers that a lot of players can't out, feels very good. We are actually very hand-trapped out in this build. So basically, this build looks like it has the chance to go second and be able to support itself and maintain some sort of chance, because the whole 12 hand traps, the talents to counteract the opponent. I don't see any real issues with this. This looks pretty straightforward. So, that's a look at a lot of stuff from this week. I didn't go through all the list from the events this weekend because, I mean, really, like, I just wanted to cover the things that interested me because, honestly, we've seen a lot of the meta be the meta at this point. So, guys, what do you think about today's breakdown? Please leave a comment down below what you guys think. Smash the crap out, subscribe button. So you guys don't miss out on more else content. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later on the day. You guys have a good rest of the day. All right? Peace out. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCole40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCole40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcolegames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.